NBC 10 First Alert Weather breaking news.
Center City is swamped this morning. Breaking now, the Schuylkill River left its banks because of all the rain we had yesterday and overnight. Firefighters going door to door this morning, checking on residents, evacuating some after rain and flooding turned city streets into rivers.
Right, rescue crews were busy overnight in the Pennsylvania suburbs and across the river in South Jersey. NBC 10 was there as drivers quickly learned just how deep flood waters are. And there are evacuations underway right now. We have you covered.
And we also have a fire burning at an apartment building in Center City, and we have a crew en route to that. We will get that information to you as soon as we get more information in. Good morning. Welcome to NBC 10 News Today. I'm Chris Cato.
And I'm Tracy Davidson. Now let's get you updated on the rain, and there is more to come. Let's find out the details from meteorologist Bill Henley in the First Alert Weather Center. Bill?
Tracy, we're tracking more showers right now. It's not the widespread heavy rainfall that we saw yesterday, but it is more wet weather nonetheless. Low clouds over Center City. Right now, the rain has stopped falling in the city, but we will likely see more showers through the city, Delaware, South Jersey. But right now, most of the activity is in some of the western suburbs. You can see light showers streaming into Chester County, Montgomery, Bucks, and farther north and west into Berks and the Lehigh Valley. And farther to the south, another line of showers that is moving to the northeast. And we're just detecting some lightning now in those storm systems. That is a thunderstorm that is moving through Maryland. It is trending to the northeast. It has some heavy rainfall within it. This has just popped up this morning within that storm, rainfall falling at a rate of 1.33 inches an hour. It is an isolated storm, but it is moving towards Delaware at this time. So don't be surprised if you see some more thunderstorm activity roll through during the day today. Scattered showers are likely, but we will see some breaks of sunshine as well, and the temperatures climbing into the upper 70s today. The future weather with an hour-by-hour look at your day when I come back. But first, Jillian is watching the traffic. Good morning, Jillian.
Good morning, Bill. It's a really busy morning out there. Let's start you off in Camden right now. We have flooding along different spots on the Route 30 Admiral Wilson Boulevard. This is right near Flanders. You can see we have some police activity out there. Officials blocking some lanes in that area. Traffic can get by that portion, but you're going to experience road closures. You're going to experience detours and lane restrictions all over the place throughout the morning. This is 422 right near Trooper. 422 actually looks pretty decent right now. So does 76. This is 76 right near University Avenue. But you have to keep in mind you can expect to see some flooding and some ponding along the shoulders of the roads, sometimes with even lane restrictions on the actual highway, and also the on and off ramps. That can definitely be a tricky situation there. Lincoln Drive is closed between Gypsy Lane and Rittenhouse Street. In Bridgeport, we have flooding on Route 202 right at Main Street. We have some out in Chester County, Tredyffrin Township right now. Yellow Springs Road out near Route 252. So we have flooding all over the place. Lincoln Drive, as I mentioned, Kelly Drive, MLK Drive, all shut down right now. Chris, I'll gather more information and see you in a couple minutes.
And at 5:02, we have new information on the breaking news we've been following in Center City. At the 2300 block of Naudane Street, we've learned some buildings have been evacuated because of a fire and reports of a house explosion at an apartment there. PGW is on scene trying to turn the gas off. NBC 10's Monique Braxton is on her way to the scene. It's taking a little longer than usual to get there because all of the streets are closed because of flooding in that area. As soon as we get more information in, we'll let you know what's going on there.
And our overall breaking news this morning is the widespread flooding across the Philadelphia region. We have reporters and photographers all across several counties. Let's begin in Philadelphia. NBC 10's Jesse Gary is live in Center City, where street flooding has a number of cars underwater. People are having to shelter in place. Jesse, give us an update.
Tracy, let me just show you how deep the water is when you talk about cars or vehicles underwater. There is an SUV out in the distance here at 23rd and Cherry, and you can see it's literally, I think, what is that, rooftop? You could just see almost up to the rooftop. It's up to the window, so you can see that's probably about 4 feet of water, and that's what's in this area. Of course, the river itself is going to crest at 13.8 feet, so it's not even at that yet. That'll happen at 8 o'clock this morning. So this entire area inundated with water, and that's forced the Philadelphia Fire Department to ask people here at the River's Edge condo to shelter in place. They are hopeful that the lights will stay on. They're still under PICO power, and they hope it stays that way, but just in case, they're trying to figure out a backup plan to get power to these people if the power goes out. Of course, the fire about a mile from here has pulled firefighters to that, so they've left this scene because the water does not seem to be rising. It has not gotten any higher within the past 30 minutes. But again, I talked to one acting deputy chief who says, this is something that's unprecedented. Have you ever seen the flooding this bad, this quickly?
In my experience, no, I have not. And our main concern right now is we know that the river has not even peaked at this time. So we're taking all precautions that we can to make sure that if we have to do evacuations, we conduct them safely prior to losing our access routes into these properties.
And part of helping with that access, the Philadelphia Fire Department is using boats to move through some of the flooded areas. This is actually Fire Department Boat 1 that was out here earlier, but again, they have moved a lot of their equipment a mile from here to help fight that fire, that 3-alarm fire that you heard mentioned earlier. Lastly, and with this, the Red Cross says that their 3 shelters are now down to 2 shelters. The one over at Roxborough High School has closed. That's the very latest live in Center City. Jesse Gary, NBC 10 News.
About a mile from where Jesse is, that other breaking news we've been telling you about, and now we have a live picture of the scene. A block in Center City has been evacuated because firefighters are working to put out a 3-alarm fire that may have begun with an explosion. NBC 10's Monique Braxton is live on the scene. Monique, I know you just got there. What can you tell us and show us?
Tracy, I'm about 2 blocks away at 23rd and Naudane. Let me show you from Wayne's vantage point. You can see that there are dozens of fighters here, dozens of fire apparatus. Here's what people here on the scene told us, including some firefighters and some residents. They say the initial call came from this block where I'm standing, 23rd and Naudane, of gas fumes. And then the firefighters arrived. They evacuated a 2-block area of Naudane, extending over to 25th Street. And then about 4:15, so you're talking about 15 minutes later, there was an explosion. Right now, firefighters are telling us they are battling the 3-alarm blaze. People are still out of their homes. One person has been taken to HUP suffering from gas fumes. No other injuries to report to you at this point. Now, there is a command center on the other side of what you're looking at right now. My photographer, Wayne Wright, and I are going to try to make our way around to the other side to talk to one of the fire chiefs to bring you up to date on what's exactly going on here. But for now, one person taken to HUP suffering from gas fumes or some smoke inhalation. We're going to find out the extent of his damage as well and talk to the fire chief and let you know exactly what's going on here. As you know, the streets in this area are very narrow, so most of this area has been blocked down. The closer you go to the Schuylkill, we did run into some cars that are taking in water in that area as well. So a very busy morning for officials here in Philadelphia. In South Philly, Monique Braxton, NBC 10 News.
And let's take you now to some of the pictures of the aftermath of the flooding that we have for you this morning. Railroad tracks disappearing underwater here. This is in Conshohocken, the Schuylkill River causing these problems. NBC 10 was on scene at Fayette and Elm Streets in Conshohocken. And look at the cars in a nearby parking lot. A lot of people are going to be calling their insurance companies this morning. Coming up at 5:30, you'll hear from one car owner who is hoping for the best in this waterlogged situation. Also from overnight, rescuers had to spring into action here. You see this truck. Look how high the water is on that truck there. 2 people were inside. The rescue crews put the boat in the water and went and got those men out, and they are doing well. That also happened in Conshohocken, and they are present and safely accounted for. In Norristown, a portion of Route 202 is closed due to this flooding. High water between Front Street and Main Street there.
That's all in Montgomery County. Heavy rain has also swamped parts of Delaware and Chester counties, especially obviously along the creeks. NBC 10's Christine Medella is live in Chadds Ford, where the Brandywine Creek went up and over and still could continue. Christine, right?
That's exactly right. I just checked in with the National Weather Service, actually, and they said a flood warning is still in existence for this area along the Brandywine Creek and UCY. A flood warning means major flooding is occurring, and that's exactly what we're seeing right here all along Route 1 near Creek Road. This is really causing problems for drivers, even though there's barricades set up all around. We've seen several drivers try to make it through, like this guy got stuck here around 3:30 this morning. And from the National Weather Service, they put out a safety message saying do not attempt to drive through flooded areas. The water may be deeper than you think, and that's what happened to this SUV that you see here, as well as about a half a dozen others. Fire crews said they've been responding to calls of people stuck in these floodwaters all throughout the morning hours. Now, we also spoke with the assistant fire chief for Concordville Fire Company, and he said they have been out here over and over again throughout the area responding to calls for people needing help. Now, Just for some reference here, at 2:30 this morning, the stage for Brandywine Creek was at 16 feet. The flood stage is actually at 9 feet, so you can just see how much higher it is than flood stage. Reporting live in Chadds Ford, Christine Medella, NBC 10 News.
Now your NBC 10 First Alert weather with meteorologist Bill Henley.
Yeah, a lot of those waters are well above flood stage this morning. It's going to take a long time for those flood waters to come down. And adding insult to injury are more showers in the area. And it's not the widespread heavy rain we had yesterday, but more showers and some thunderstorms, too, will only add to the already existing flood waters. We'll be much warmer today. We'll get some breaks of sunshine, but through the day, we'll see a threat of some showers. It's Wilmington that is reporting some light rain right now at 67 degrees, while clouds are over Mount Pocono and Trenton. Much warmer this morning from the mountains to the cities, and the fog in the area is scattered around. These are low clouds over Center City. There is some light fog at the Jersey Shore. Don't be surprised if you run into some of that. There you can see some scattered light showers in areas north and west, right through central Montgomery and Bucks counties. This is a line of showers that will likely push into Philadelphia, but there are some heavier downpours moving through Maryland. This is a thunderstorm. This thing is on the move. It's moving to the northeast at 50 miles an hour, which will have it in Dover if it holds together at just after 6 o'clock this morning. Now, there's some signs that the lightning is starting to die down in that, but there's the threat of more thunderstorms during the day. Our future weather shows at 9 o'clock this morning some scattered showers, temperatures in the 60s. We'll get some breaks of sunshine by noontime. The clouds thin out. There'll still be some showers in the area, especially at the coastline. 72 degrees at noontime in Philadelphia. Then with more sunshine, it gets warmer, upper 70s this afternoon. But at 5 o'clock this afternoon, we'll still be threatened by more showers, a possibility of more showers and thunderstorms in the area. But then things will start to dry out. A look at the extended future weather and the 7-day forecast when I come back.
And that dry out can't start soon enough to help alleviate the traffic problems that the flooding is causing this morning.
Jillian Mealy is seeing it all on all of our cameras. Jillian?
That's right, and this is a live picture actually out where Christine Medella is live in Delaware County, Route 1 along Creek Road. We have this vehicle that you can see right here that is just stuck in the flood waters there, and that vehicle is not going anywhere anytime soon. And this is a picture that we're seeing all across the area. We have a lot of flooding throughout Conshohocken. We have a lot of flooding throughout Center City. Delaware drivers, 495. Speeds are restricted now to 45 miles per hour just because of the dangerous conditions out there. So that is the entire length of 495 where we are seeing that speed restriction in place, and that is something new. So keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to mass transit, we are dealing with a lot of problems, and I anticipate those problems to get worse and to continue throughout the morning. New Jersey Transit has system-wide cross-honoring in effect today. Septim-Manayunk-Norristown line, that is completely suspended, and that is going to remain suspended throughout the morning rush because, quite frankly, a lot of those tracks are underwater right now, especially in the Conshohocken area over near Elm Street. We have tracks that are underwater. SEPTA Route 102 trolley service is terminating at McDade Boulevard. Tracy.
12 minutes past 5. We have reporters and photographers across the region showing you what you need to know. Flooding is causing all kinds of problems right now. Roads closed, power outages, shelters opened. NBC 10's Katie Zachary is monitoring what's happening. She is live in our Digital Operations Center. Katie?
Tracy, I have new information to tell you about and pictures to show you from people who live along the Schuylkill River. Some of them have to leave their homes this morning because of the flooding. I'll have all that information for you after the break.
5:15 now. Let's take you back live for a look at the situation in Center City. The Schuylkill River left its banks after all of the rain we got yesterday evening. Several streets are impacted in the Center City area by these floodwaters. There are people who are sheltering in place in their apartments in Center City. We'll have more information on that coming up. And it looks like at 13.91 feet that the Schuylkill River has crested at this point. So hopefully the river won't keep rising. And a live look here at this is Chadds Ford, Delaware County, where the Brandywine Creek is the source of the misery there. A lot of streets blocked off this morning by floodwaters. A warning for drivers. You're going to come upon some of this morning. Remember, don't try to drive through the stranded water. We've already seen several people stuck this morning. And as if that's not enough, we do have some more rain on the way. Not the heavy stuff that we saw yesterday, but there is a possibility of thunderstorms later on this afternoon. Meteorologist Bill Henley will be back in a moment with a look at that.
And at 16 minutes past 5, we continue to get new information into our newsroom throughout the morning because of the flooding.
NBC 10's Katie Zachary is rounding all of that info up for us. She's in our Digital Operations Center with more. Katie?
Chris, I tell you just said more rain is in our forecast. People who are watching in Conshohocken do not want to hear that. I just got off the phone with a gentleman who lives in the Londonderry condominium complex. That sits on Washington Street right along the Schuylkill River. Let's go to our pictures that he sent in. This is what it looks like outside that building at this hour. The Conshohocken Fire Department, they've been using their raft to help people leave the building. The building, as I said, sits between Washington Street and the Schuylkill River, but Washington Street right now is like a river, and unfortunately that's the only road to and from this condominium complex. They are under a voluntary evacuation. This gentleman told me when he went to bed around 10 o'clock last night when it was still pouring. He says the Schuylkill was swollen, but the water had not gone over the banks yet. That was a very different story when he woke up around 2:30 this morning. He woke up to the Conshohocken Fire Department offering residents a chance to get in the raft and evacuate. I'm told that most people decided to stay in that building. They're just going to wait it out. But as I said, Washington Street is like a river. That's their only chance to get in and out. They, of course, cannot take their cars through Washington Street. So a lot of people in Conshohocken are just sitting tight at this time, and there's no telling when the water is going to recede. So we're staying on top of this to tell you how people are staying safe, how they're staying dry and warm. There are, of course, shelters in place instituted by the Red Cross of Southeastern Pennsylvania. There are power outages I'm following, and I'll have all that in the next half hour for you.
All right, Katie, thanks. Washington Street like a river. Many streets and roads like a river this morning that you need to know about.
Jillian Milley has an update on one of those impacted areas. Jillian?
You know, we have a problem right now on the Vine Street Expressway. It actually looks like it could be two problems. To start, right in this area, the right lane, we have some flooding, and you'll notice if these cameras freeze sometimes, but vehicles are kind of slowly approaching. A little spot of flooding out there. And then it looks like right down here at the bottom of your screen, let me step out of the way. It looks like it could be an accident, but it also kind of looks like we have two vehicles that are just stopped out there on the highway. It's unclear what's going on out there right now on the Vine Street Expressway, but as you can see, crews just got to the scene right now. We have a few vehicles pulled over there, and it looks like the crews are shining their lights in those vehicles. It was just two vehicles that look to be abandoned out there on the westbound side of the Vine. This is as you approach 76. So we have the right lane blocked because of that situation with the vehicles, and then we have the right lane blocked because of a little bit of flooding out there as well. So make sure you take your time wherever you are going this morning. Like I said, you could expect to see some ponding out there on the roadways, and certainly a lot of flooding in some areas. This is Kelly Drive, completely underwater. MLK Drive is underwater. Portions of Lincoln Drive completely shut down right now. In Lower Moreland, we have flooding Tomlinson Road between Philmont Avenue and Buck Road, heading to Ben Salem. State Road between Tennis Avenue and Street Road. We have some flooding there. For drivers in New Jersey, we're seeing a whole lot of flooding. Different parts of Route 30, especially right at Baird Boulevard. We're dealing with flooding there, and also along Route 73, we have various spots of flooding, so use caution. And if you see those detours are there for a reason.
Now your NBC 10 First Alert weather with meteorologist Bill Henley.
Well, the steady, heavy rainfall has ended, but there are still some showers in the area that we'll be dealing with through the day today. Look at the temperature, though. That's a big change, 66 degrees, and it will climb into the 70s this afternoon. Mount Pocono's in the 50s, and rain is falling right now in Wilmington, but it has dried out a little bit in Philadelphia. The rain has stopped falling. You can see the low clouds are still hanging right over the city. Some spots of fog being reported, too, but more likely you're going to run into some scattered showers. Light showers north and west, with one exception. This is a thunderstorm that has just popped up in the last few minutes, and it's really moving. It's moving off to the northeast at 50 miles an hour. Some very heavy rainfall falling at a rate of more than an inch a third an hour. And with that northeasterly movement at 50 miles an hour, that puts it in Dover at just after 6 o'clock this morning. So we are still going to see some isolated thunderstorm activity like this. And that's going to be affecting us not only this morning, but a possibility this afternoon, too. But in between the showers, the clouds will break. After a cloudy start this morning, we'll get some sunshine, and the numbers will climb into the middle to upper 70s today. Winds out of the southwest to 12 miles an hour. Then we finally dry out for tomorrow. The 7-day forecast, 70 degrees. A nice day Friday. And it's looking good this weekend, too. There will be more clouds around Saturday and Sunday. High temperatures near 70 degrees both days. It's Monday that'll be a bit cooler, but sunny, 63 degrees Monday, into the middle to upper 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday, with more showers possible Wednesday.
And with more rain falling, we know that the flooding threat out out there is far from over. Our live team coverage continues. We'll take you to the trouble spots, let you know what to watch out for as you're getting around. But the wet weather isn't just causing flooding. Ahead, we'll show you where days of rain caused a massive sinkhole to swallow all of these cars.
524, we continue our live team coverage of the flooding, the aftermath of all the rain yesterday. This is a live picture as the Schuylkill has gone over its banks and into the streets. This is Center City, 23rd and Race. Fire department on standby for any rescues necessary. Jesse Gary, who is live on that scene, just tweeted 22nd Street in Center City reopened by the police department, but side streets leading to the river are still blocked. People are being told to shelter in place because obviously you can't use the roads right there. Here's a live picture over Center City, Philadelphia. Light showers moving through the area. A live look. Even the light rain can push floodwaters up. Bill Henley says, be warned, even places not seeing flooding right now could see flooding later today.
525 and happening today in Harrisburg. A Pennsylvania House committee is going to hold a public hearing on internet gambling. That hearing will focus on the impact of legalizing online gaming in the Keystone State. The main issue, they're talking about problem gamblers. The head of a group concerned over compulsive gambling tells NBC 10 that Pennsylvania can take a tip from New Jersey, where internet gambling is now legal.
I believe they're starting to see an increase in helpline activities. We anticipate a spike, and how soon that'll come if and when internet gambling becomes a reality in the state.
So that council is pushing the state for funding to help internet gamblers who have an addiction.
Now your NBC 10 First Alert weather.
Now, it seemed like the heavy rain would never end yesterday, but it has taken a break, though there are still some showers in the area, and the remnants of all that rain now coming back in some areas as fog. That's a live view from Cape May from the Marquis de Lafayette Hotel. The temperatures are warmer this morning, 65 degrees, but we're tracking more wet weather in the area.
And as many of you are waking up and joining us, wondering how your drive to work, your drive to school will be affected, we can tell you that there are a lot of problems out there because of flooding.
Partially in Center City, the Schuylkill River causing flooding problems. NBC 10's Jesse Gary joins us live with that part of our coverage. Jesse?
That's right. Roads have become rivers, and the Schuylkill River has moved into the city. We'll update you on the flooding situation here in Center City right after this break.
NBC 10 First Alert weather breaking news.
When will it stop? Right now, the Schuylkill River in Center City is spilling over its banks and sending water into the streets. Parking lots and basement buildings are full of several feet of water, and flooding is expected to continue for the next few hours. We're also following breaking news. A 3-alarm fire, a block in Center City, Philadelphia, has been evacuated, and they are just giving us a briefing right now. One person has been taken to the hospital. This is Deputy Commissioner Richard Davidson briefing us on this fire in Center City, Philadelphia.
That is correct. There was one adult female transported to Hub Hospital with minor injuries.
Would you call this a gas explosion then?
Well, we have not confirmed that at this time. PICO is on location. Our fire marshal's office is investigating the cause of the explosion.
I heard this woman was found semi-unconscious.
That's not confirmed.
And her cats were apparently dead?
I don't have that information at this time.
Okay.
How grateful are you to the person who called to say, I smell gas fumes?
We're very grateful. I mean, that's part of the system, the people, the residents of Philadelphia, to notify the 911 system when they are alarmed about any smell, any incident, any occasion. So the residents play a very important role in activating our 911 system.
And you evacuated close to 24 residents?
Yes, a total of 22 residents.
And where were they taken?
They were taken to Kappa School, 901 South Broad Street, and they were transported by a SEPTA bus.
How soon can they get back inside their homes, or is this building gutted?
All right, we put it under control. We did save half of the building, so we wanted to make sure that our fire marshals, our collaboration with other agencies, L&I, PGW, to help us make that decision of how soon they can get back into the building.
Deputy Commissioner, again, just the other reports of fumes.
That is Deputy Fire Commissioner Richard Davidson of the Fire Department in Philadelphia talking about that 3-alarm fire we've been bringing you as breaking news in the 2300 block of Nodane Street. Came in as a gas odor. They responded. There was an explosion, a 3-alarm fire. 22 people evacuated, one person, a woman, taken to the hospital. You heard NBC 10's Monique Braxton on scene asking those questions. We will get a live update from her coming up. Good morning and welcome to NBC 10 News Today. I'm Tracy Davidson.
And I'm Vice Hammond. Let's bring in meteorologist Bill Henley. Bill, we're dealing with the aftermath of a full day of rain and still more to come.
Yeah, some areas picked up more than 5 inches of rain yesterday. Flood warning still an issue this morning, though the waters have started to come down in most areas. They haven't come down by much. This is a live view from the Adventure Aquarium. Clouds are still over the area. Over Camden, the rain has taken a break, but we are tracking some scattered light showers to the north and west, and more showers and possibly even some thunderstorms will be impacting us today. Though it's not the big heavy rainfall we saw yesterday, we are tracking a line of showers that are moving very quickly and contain a thunderstorm moving through eastern Maryland. That's a thunderstorm that's moving to the northeast at 50 miles an hour, and within that storm, rainfall rate of almost 3 inches per hour. But you can see how small it is. It's not the big widespread heavy rain that we saw yesterday, but it's on the move and should be in central Delaware and Kent County by 6 o'clock this morning. So stand by for more wet weather. On and off showers are possible. We will get breaks of sunshine, and the temperatures that are starting off warm right now, we're in the 60s. We'll warm into the 70s this afternoon. The future weather, we'll go through it hour by hour when I come back. But first, what a busy morning, Jillian.
My head is spinning. That's to say the least, Bill. It is very busy out there, and I have some new information. We have information coming in by the second right now. When it comes to SEPTA regional rail lines, this is new. The Wilmington-Newark line has no inbound service from the Claymont station. SEPTA officials say they advise to use another station if that's typically where you would access the SEPTA Wilmington-Newark line. Also, we still have suspended service, and we will have it throughout the morning on the SEPTA Manayunk-Norristown line. If you're taking New Jersey Transit, system-wide cross-honoring is in effect today. This is an accident on the Vine Street Expressway. It's on the westbound side as drivers approach 76. It's a multi-vehicle, at least 2 vehicles involved over there, primarily on the shoulder, but then you have officials blocking the right lane, and we have just a little spot of ponding out there, a little bit of flooding on the highway, blocking the right lane as well. So as you can see right now, traffic is just slowing down as drivers pass that scene, but it's not causing too much of a delay just yet. If it stays out there, I anticipate it causing some problems for drivers. We have some flooding in Chadds Ford, Smith Bridge Road, right at Ridge Road, and also in Chadds Ford, Route 1 between Route 202 and Route 52. Bye.
Thank you, Jillian. We're following breaking news this morning. Flooding across our region in Philadelphia. The swollen Schuylkill River has overflowed its banks and has made a mess in one Center City neighborhood. NBC 10's Jesse Gary is live at Cherry Streets and 22nd. And Jesse, what's happening there since we last saw you?
Vi, just within the past 30 minutes or so, the flood waters have started to recede, which is good news and a relief. And I'll show you why I can say that. Earlier, you remember I was out here with the boats, and this is the crosswalk here, and you can see that the painted lines on the street in the crosswalk, they're now visible. Before, this was all just murky, dark water. So now you can actually see the crosswalk. So the water is starting to go down a little bit. Still, there are plenty of vehicles that are submerged. Some not as bad as others, but there's still vehicles that are submerged. Additionally, within the past 10 minutes, a fire marshal returned here to the scene to check on some of the residents who are sheltering in place. This after the acting deputy chief had checked on them earlier.
They're all still under Pico power. However, their basements are now starting to flood. So we're in the process of, like I said, getting that count and deciding where we're going to move them if we have to evacuate.
Coming back live here in Center City, and you can see the floodwaters that are still down Cherry Street close to the Schuylkill River, and you can see the current of the Schuylkill River in the back, but the waters have started to recede, which is good news. We'll have another update for you coming up in 30 minutes. Live in Center City, Jesse Gary, NBC 10 News.
Rescue crews have been rushing to water emergencies all night long, especially in Montgomery County. Next, we'll hear from one driver who suddenly got swamped. Katie Zachary.
Hi, I'm live in the Digital Operations Center, and let me tell you, if you're a SEPTA rider and you're waking up this morning, you may have to find another way to get to work. I'll let you know what service lines are being suspended because of the flooding.
Now, your NBC 10 First Alert weather with meteorologist Bill Henley.
We're tracking more showers this morning and some heavy downpours as well, and that is going to be a possibility during the day today. Floodwaters for much of the area will slowly come down, and we will slowly see the skies break. We'll get some sunshine today, a big warm-up. We're starting off in the 60s for most of the area. The Pocono Mountains are warmer too, 51 degrees. Look at 63 degrees in Trenton and Wilmington, 65 degrees. Clouds over Center City. This is a live view from the Mellon Bank building in Center City. We will see these clouds break, get some sunshine, but there's still more thunderstorm activity to track. This is a thunderstorm that is quickly moving through eastern Maryland. It's getting ready to move into central Delaware. It's moving to the northeast at 50 miles an hour, and that does contain some heavy rainfall. But overall, we're seeing much less wet weather this morning than what we had yesterday, though there's still a possibility of more showers. Most of the morning we'll be looking at cloudy skies and temperatures in the 60s. By noontime, you can see the clearing that's taking place north and west, while there's still some showers in the region, especially likely at the shore. 72 degrees in Philadelphia at lunchtime, and those numbers continue to climb. But that may fuel some showers and possibly some thunderstorms. That's 3 o'clock this afternoon. You can see some activity popping up once again, and that's a possibility even into the late afternoon hours. Now, when I come back, look at the 7-day forecast to show you when we'll finally be drying out.
I was just looking at the camera, and it looks like an accident somewhere.
Right. The roads are impassable in some areas. Other areas, be careful of hydroplaning. Jillian Mealy is watching that. Jillian?
Yep, and we have tow trucks on the scene of this accident on the Vine Street Expressway. You can see this is a tow truck right over here, and we have this vehicle that's off to the shoulder that's actually into the barrier over there as part of that accident scene. This is the Vine Street Expressway, the westbound side, as drivers head out to 76, and you can see police have the right lane blocked. So right now it looks like we have 2 lanes of traffic getting by on the westbound side of the Vine, and it is starting to create some really heavy congestion out there. Also, right up here as this camera moves a little bit, stay with me if you can. Looks like I'm having trouble drawing on that. But we have a little bit of flooding out there as well, partially blocking that right lane. So that's also helping to slow down traffic right now. So we're dealing with multiple situations out here on the Vine Street Expressway. On the eastbound side of the Vine, right as you make your way onto the Vine from 76, there's an exit, the very first exit, 23rd Street. That is closed because of all of that flooding that Jesse Gary has been showing us on 23rd Street and some of those side streets in that area. So definitely dealing with more activity out there right now. This is a live look at some of that flooding along Kelly Drive, MLK Drive, portions of Lincoln Drive, all still closed at this hour. For drivers in Camden, this is a live look at Route 30 Admiral Wilson Boulevard. We did have police activity out here just a little while ago because of flooding, but it looks like that has cleared because that police activity is now gone. And finally in Brooklawn, Route 130, the Brooklawn Circle, just like yesterday, that is flooded again this morning. Bye.
All right, thank you, Jillian. Also new from overnight, railroad tracks vanishing under floodwater today. NBC 10 near Fayette and Elm Streets in Conshohocken. Cars in a nearby parking lot were also waterlogged. A woman we spoke with said she's just hoping her car is dry enough to drive this morning.
I got here, my car is starting to fill up or starting to be engulfed by this water here. So it's going to be interesting trying to get to work. Lord only knows how far my car will float down this road.
And another car owner told us that he was surprised at just how fast the floodwaters rose. Also in Montgomery County, a portion of Route 202 is closed in Norristown due to flooding. This high water is between Front Street and Main Street.
5:41 right now. We're getting new information about power outages and road closures as a result of the rain and flooding. We have you covered with what you need to know. Our live team coverage continues right now from Delaware County, and NBC 10's Christine Medella is there. Christine?
This is a section of Route 1 that is shut down here, and you can see why, because of flooding. But I just got an update from Chester County Emergency Management, and the good news is the Brandywine Creek has crested and is falling. I'll have a live report when we come back. Tracy?
And check out what the days of heavy rain have done to the south. Cars swallowed up by a massive sinkhole. Within the last 15 minutes, we got a briefing on this breaking news we've been following for you. A block in Center City, Philadelphia, evacuated because of an explosion and 3-alarm fire. NBC 10's Monique Braxton is live on the scene. Monique, fill us in on everything that's happening right now and what happened.
Tracy, we can tell you the fire has been brought under control, but there are still dozens of firefighters here on the scene. They're making sure that there are no hot spots. They're dousing them. You can see the water there, the hose in the distance. This is what we've learned from Deputy Fire Commissioner Davison. He says firefighters were called here about gas fumes about 2:14 this morning. When they arrived, they discovered a fire in the basement of a home. That home was immediately evacuated. Within the hour, they evacuated 11 units in an adjacent building bordering that home. Just before 4 o'clock, an explosion occurred in the home. One adult female was taken to HUP with injuries. Police tell us she was suffering from smoke or gas fumes inhalation. Firefighters say they are not sure of the extent of her injuries at this time. So you can see this is still a very active investigation. We can also tell you that 22 people were taken by SEPTA bus to Kappa. That's the high school for the creative and performing arts over on Broad Street. The American Red Cross has contacted us. They say they are assisting the 22 residents there. Firefighters also say everyone has been accounted for. It took them almost 3 hours to bring the 3-alarm blaze under control. Firefighters say there is no risk of further collapse of this building. They were able to save half of the building. But we can tell you that there are several Philadelphia authorities and agencies represented out here: L&I, PGW, PICO, the police department, as well as the Office of Emergency Management. We're going to continue to monitor the scene here, and any updates, count on us to bring it to you. Live in Center City, Monique Braxton, NBC 10 News.
At 5:47, let's take you west of Philadelphia to Delaware and Chester counties, where the heavy rain is causing road problems, especially along the creeks there.
Yeah, NBC 10's Christine Medella is live in Chadds Ford, where the Brandywine Creek is now receding. Christine, fill us in.
That is the good news, and that's the part of the update I just got from Chester County emergency management officials. And you can see PennDOT trucks like this one still blocking streets due to flooding. Even though the floodwaters are receding, you can see a portion of Route 1 here from 202 past Creek Road is still flooded. And Chester County emergency management officials tell us overnight there were 62 water rescues, people getting stuck in their cars. 3 people got stuck in their homes, and this car is one of them that drove through the floodwaters but got stuck. Take a look at our video from about an hour and a half or so ago of the driver having to get out onto the roof of his car, and then fire crews had to come out and rescue him. Just in this intersection alone, fire officials say this wasn't the only rescue.
I've been out here 5 times tonight. The last 3 were for vehicles that went past the barricades into the high water, and then we have to go in and get them out.
And for people, especially when there are barricades set up, they're set up for a reason.
Correct, and they need to pay attention to the barricades and the safety obstacles that are put up there for their safety. When we have to go in there, we're putting firefighters at risk to go back into that water to get them out.
And that assistant chief told me the vast majority of the water rescues were from people who drove past barriers like this one that are set up throughout our area. This is Creek Road, and you can see the water is still covering Creek Road, and fire crews told me there's about 4 more cars that are stuck down this road. Now, the good news, though, is the Brandywine Creek crested at a little more than 16 feet and is now receding. So that's the good news, but until it recedes completely and they tow those trucks that are stuck down here out of the way, these roads will remain closed. It is going to cause a problem for your morning commuters. Reporting live in Chadds Ford, Christine Medella, NBC 10 News.
Now your NBC 10 First Alert Weather with meteorologist Bill Henley.
Fortunately, most of the rivers and creeks have crested, but there's still lots of flooding around, including major flooding. But we're in for a big warm-up. In fact, we're already seeing it this morning. 66 degrees in Philadelphia. Those winds of 14 miles an hour helping with the warm-up. Clouds over the city. This is a live view of a flag at rest here at NBC 10. The warmer temperatures will do away with the fog that has developed at the Jersey Shore. This is a live view from Cape May from the Marquis de Lafayette Hotel. This is just one of the spots that's dealing with fog this morning. You might see some fog, but you could also see some heavy downpours. This is a thunderstorm that's starting to die down as it moves through eastern Maryland and into central Delaware. Has a history of lightning, but right now in the last few minutes, no lightning, just rainfall. That's falling at a rate of 1.33 inches an hour, but it's a much smaller area of heavy rain. And now just some scattered showers north and west. We'll see some additional rainfall today, but compared to yesterday, it's going to be next to nothing. A quarter of an inch in some areas. Flood warnings up for most of the area. They've been dropped in Lehigh, Northampton counties, but still in effect for much of eastern Pennsylvania, parts of Delaware, and south and central and northern New Jersey this morning. And some of those will still be in effect at this time tomorrow morning. It'll take that long for the flood waters to come down. Occasionally, we'll see some rain coming down, and there's still a chance of a thunderstorm today, isolated thunderstorms. Look at the temperatures, middle to upper 70s today. Come tomorrow, that's when we'll see brilliant sunshine. A nice day, finally. Friday, a high of 70 degrees, and pretty nice this weekend, too. There will be more clouds around Saturday and Sunday, but high temperatures will be in the upper 60s both days. Lots of sunshine for Monday, 63 degrees, and then a warming trend with another chance of showers on Wednesday.
Yeah, I come to work from South Jersey on Route 73, and the two road closures there, one in Maple Shade, one in Palmyra. You really can't access the Tacony Palmyra from Route 73 because of the road closures there.
There are a number of road closures. Jillian Mealy has been watching that along with accidents. Jillian?
You know, I think a lot of people are going to be detoured on their way to work or to school or wherever, you know, you may be going today because we have closures all over the place now. Good news situation. We just had an accident clear on the Vine Street Expressway. It was right over here on the westbound side, approaching 76, blocking the right lane. And we did have a delay forming, but as you can see, that accident is now gone, and we still have a little bit of a slowdown out here, but this is as we approach 6 o'clock and things start to get busy anyway. So watch out for additional volume out there on the major roadways, even on some of your neighborhood roads as people try and take detours away from some of the flooding. Flourtown, we have flooding Stetton Avenue between Mill Road and Cricket Road for drivers in Delaware. This is a live look at 95 out near 495. You can see it's actually looking pretty good right now. This is at the northern point where those two roads meet. So no issues to report there as far as accidents or flooding goes, but we do have speed restrictions in place on 495 to 45 miles per hour. That's as a precaution because of the conditions out there. So make sure you watch your speeds because those speed restrictions are in place for a reason. In Evesham, we have flooding Route 73 right near Main Street. Bye.
Jillian, people living in a Maryland neighborhood are gasping at what flooding rains did to a chunk of it. Take a look at this sinkhole in Baltimore. Officials say 2 days of heavy rain helped collapse a block-long portion of the street. The sinkhole swallowed several cars. A woman who lives just across the street thought her husband's car might be one of them.
I'm just overwhelmed. It was expected because we've reported this a couple times over the past several years and was told it was structurally sound. They've actually patched it up and that let it at that.
Thankfully, no one was hurt in the street collapse. The woman did find her husband's car parked on another street.
Right now, the rain and flooding being blamed for hundreds of power outages. That number's actually down. A lot of trouble on the roads right now. NBC 10's Katie Zachary has you covered with it. Katie?
That's right. There are going to be troubles for commuters this morning. I have new information from SEPTA about service interruptions and delays because of the flooding, plus more power outages to tell you about. That's coming up after the break.